Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board Work Session starting here at 7:10, Thursday, December 5th, 2024. We're going to head right into our public hearing. Patty, can you tell me a little bit about publishing and postings, please?
So that was published in the Journal News on November 26th and posted on the town clerk's bulletin.
All right, motion to open up public hearing?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, great. The 2025 preliminary budget. We do have some changes to go over, but before we do that, let's go over a little bit of the highlights here. Total appropriations for the town, 17,737,647 and 11,904,698 from the general fund. An increase from the 2024 budget of 919,968, and in the general fund, 758,490. A lot of that came from our pension, health, and personal services. The pension was in the town 159,317, general fund 123,17, and then the increase to health was 247,040, and the general fund is 133,040. Personal services was 345,859 and 167,319. Other services there were for police, a fly car, parks, and our insurance, and that was from the town 246,505, and our general fund is 264,505 as well. Total revenues for the town, 9,331,485, and the general fund is 8,667,785. Increase from the 2024 budget is 366,638, and the general fund is 351,221. Increase to interest income, 99,000, and the general fund is 91,000. Increase in mortgage tax is 90,000. General fund is the same number, 90,000. An increase in county sales tax of 178,837, and the same thing in the general fund as well. What puts us here, an increase at 3.5%. We're still in tax compliance, so we are underneath the tax cap once again this year. Another amazing job here by the town board and our finance department for keeping there. And just some head count here. One full-time position added to the highway, and other highlights here, 500,000 paving remains in the highway fund. 2 new police cars, hybrids, SUVs, approximately 140,000. 380,000 for other capital projects throughout the town. It's Reese Park, Van Tassel generator, etc. And then we got 60,000 increase for additional EMS fly car, which we added in the third quarter of 2024. We're very fortunate to have that here. We've got over 3,000 calls here. We're probably going to be above the number that we were last year as well. So having the extra fly car has been a valuable add here for not only Somers but the other surrounding towns. Low debt payments, only 520,000 in 2025, and we were at 1.2 million in 2021. And then again, very important that I mention this again. We have the highest rating, a AAA rating from Moody's. We stand in great financial position here in the town. So we've been very prudent what we've been doing here as a town, but to have that, we've been having that AAA rating now here for the last 4 years. So that's just a true testament to what we've been doing as well. Anybody have anything to add or mention? Bob, do you want to say a few things at all before we kind of get into some of the changes?
Not too much other than
Anything I missed?
for a $650,000 home, it's assessed for that. The increase for this year, $3, $33.63, but not too bad. No, I think this year was pretty good. I mean, like you said, we're been very good keeping our budget in check. All the department heads do a good job with that. We're prudent with our watching the budgets and pretty conservative with budgeting the revenues. So I think all 1 year to the next, we're looking pretty good.
Good. Yeah. No, we had the accountant here last month.
Yep, and they're coming in again in a week. They never seem to like to leave. So
Starting on next year's?
they start next year's already. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They come in December and they come back in March.
Do you see any large expenses to the town in the next year, 2, 3 that we should make sure that you are keeping track of that we should make sure we keep?
Well, I think it's the big capital project. The water project to connect to the townhouse for the PFAS issue. You're looking at Reese Park. Not sure how that's going to be looking at, yeah, what dollars wise yet for that. You know, you've got various capital projects. We've been talking about doing things at the highway department, adding a roof there, you know, perhaps expanding over here. So there's a lot of things. We just, the board's got to focus on making the priorities.
So in the next year or two, it is the capital projects line, so to speak,
Yeah.
track of, but our other expenses should remain fairly consistent with,
Well, pension's gone up a bit.
you have no
and
control over that.
we don't have any control over pension or healthcare. Thankfully, healthcare this year came in very flat.
Yeah, that's some,
Surprising.
yeah.
Last year was, I think, 9 or 10%.
Yeah.
So it's pension, healthcare, things we don't have a lot of say about. I mean, our fly car, we don't have a lot of say about. I mean, that's a large number.
Shared service with 7 other municipalities, I believe.
Right. It's an important service, but again, it's something we don't have any control over. So, I mean, I think we do a pretty good job with personal service lines and items in the budget. So I don't think there's any big item to be concerned with right now.
I think, you know, there's cyclical risk in anything we do, right? So if there's a little downturn in the economy, stress on sales tax and mortgage tax,
Oh.
tax revenue.
Well, the sales tax, I just cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Big one.
In November of 25, the extra percentage they put in 29 actually sunsets, and they've already extended it once. So there's a risk that they don't do it again. I can't imagine that's
Yeah.
going to happen,
We'll have
but
11 months of.
Yeah.
we'll have 11 months of it, but that'll be $1 million if it goes away that we won't have anymore.
Yeah. So,
$1 million over 12 months or $1 million in
12 months.
one sack?
12 months,
12.
not just one.
It'll disappear in 2026 if they don't
Right.
end it. Yep, okay.
but that would also affect every other municipality
Yes.
Yeah.
and
No, I agree, but I'm just letting you know they have.
yeah, but it's a valid point. I mean, there's a sunset on it and it has to
Yep.
again. But to counter that is that we have a strong balance sheet. We're AAA rated. We're well reserved. So, you know, we have enough, balance sheet strength to sort of
Right.
manage our way through something like that. But
If it happens.
if it happens,
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Nice, Bob, and good job as well.
yeah,
Tremendous,
thanks.
Bobbin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
We do have a few changes that we want to the preliminary budget,
for that.
Bob. So if you want to,
Yep.
so increase in the planning personal services, part-time planning board secretary, 10,000. And increase the appropriated fund balance by the same number, 10,000. And again, that is a net change to the tax levy of 0 as well. Highway increase in machinery, personal services, 11,000. There's going to be, might be a potential title change, and then increase the appropriate fund balance of 11,000 as well. And there is no change to the tax levy as well. In the library, decrease the personal services of 5,940. You're going to decrease the contractual of 591, and decrease the appropriate fund balance by 6,531 in that.
And that's that's a change made by the library board,
Correct.
not this board.
Yeah, not this board. The library board came up with those changes. In the general fund, increase the highway superintendent's personal services of 3,660. And you're going to decrease the highway superintendent overtime line by $2,000. Okay, again, this would be offset by the fund balance. We're going to increase the zoning personnel services by 2,000 for an out-of-title pay, and then increase the Bureau of Fire Prevention personal services by 2,000 as well, and that's offset again by the fund balance. Increase shared services personnel services of 2,500 for a total change is 8,160, and increase the appropriate fund balance by 8,160, and that is a 0 change to the tax levy. For 2025, we're going to add a couple of additional things here. Dog control officer, going to move that to 25. PTA interim clerk of safety inspections to 24. Code enforcer part-time, that's going to go to 24. And then intermediate clerk part-time and recreation administration to 24 as well.
Right, all hourly rate.
All hourly rates.
Okay.
That is it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment?
Any- Hourly rates. Hourly rates, sorry, 24 hourly rate,
24 per hour.
24 per hour.
Yeah, we'll get you that up.
Details.
I just
Really?
brought it up.
Anybody here, anybody here for comment for the,
But-
for the preliminary budget?
Anybody?
No? Okay, we are going to, keep it open till next week, Patty.
Adjourn.
We're gonna adjourn, so I'll make the motion to adjourn to next week.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. And let me make a motion to open up public comment.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Anybody here for public comment?
Yes.
Ed-
Been on an agenda
Process
or,
elimination, you're up.
No, it's not an agenda item. Nope.
nope?
Look, do you want to come up?
It's on an agenda.
It's not on, it's
Oh,
not
no.
on an agenda.
No,
item.
no, it is.
Why is this one painted?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Cookie Carpenito. I live on Butler Hill Road in Somers. And I'm asking for help. We have had an iron problem on our block. My water is horrible. For years, I have been asking the town for help. Rob has been, definitely helping me at this point, but there's not much to do. I just don't know what to do, where to turn, how to get help. So I'm just, I'm losing water every 3 days. My filters have to be changed every 3 days. My bathrooms are orange, my tiles are orange. I just redid a bathroom and I won't even use it because, and I just want to show you.
Did this start at some given point?
One of my
Been
filters
here before.
after 3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
Three-
I have one of those. Wow.
This is clay. I'm changing my machinery every month. The heads are breaking. West Fair has to come out all the time, service my equipment. And it's too much money. It's $110
Yeah.
for these things, the filter. So I'm just asking for help of what could be done
When
to bring in
start?
water. For years. I've been after this for years.
Is it only your house on the street?
No,
There's others, okay.
there's others of my neighbors, whatever.
And you're all on wells.
Yeah.
Separate wells.
So they live over on Butlerville, right?
Sorry,
Butler Hill?
I'm Butler Hill.
You're on Butler Hill.
Right.
That's where the old iron mine used to be, right?
I think I'm Butlerville in those back houses
On those back houses.
when you first pull in, but the block is just horrible. And I don't know what to do anymore.
So
And
I-
has anyone on that block
many
asked
houses?
for help from, let's say, Westchester County with health officials or even from New York State DEC or anything like that? Any sort of investigation
We
anyone's done?
we
Here
received
sometimes on Long Island, they come out, they did a big investigation.
no. I was happy when I received a letter like 5 years ago saying this block is maybe what is it, Rob? Like they were
doing a survey.
yeah.
Survey who would be interested in water or sewer in the different areas. I believe
Right.
that letter was
Oh,
sent
yeah.
out to where you live. I think Lake Purdy's, I think Dean's Bridge. I think some of those areas, they did
Steve
the
Robbins handled
the
it.
survey on that.
So on my block alone, I think there were 30 responders maybe.
Might be,
But there's a lot of people on the block. We just have to get together. But I don't know. I said to them, I'm going to come down tonight because it's the last minute. And I'm just saying, where do we turn? What rights do we have for trying to get town water or help?
so I know that, I think you had a conversation, right, with Steve?
I did.
You did, right? And there is a long process that goes through that, right? There is a long process to petition the water, to create a water district, all those things. And I know we've had a conversation before, on this in regard. But we do have ongoing conversations with them.
Okay.
This is something that we,
With, them, who?
with the water provider that's up there on Greenbrier. To,
But to me, this has been ongoing.
Yeah.
And it's 5 years ongoing, and he said it's gonna take more time. How much more time?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
well,
it's ridiculous. I can't, you bathe your children in this. I have grandchildren. I ingest this every day. It's unfair. Something needs to be done, and I'm not gonna wait 5 years more. I'm asking for help on how we proceed to move it along.
well, first and foremost, right? The first thing that we would need to do is for yourself and your surrounding neighbors, we need to have a meeting to discuss who is being affected by this, right? Because having one connection for one person is an astronomical amount of money just to connect into it to create a water district for one person. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I know they may have stopped pretty close to where your house is, the connection point. Would be see how many people would be interested in forming a water district on that regard. And I'm not the engineer, so I don't know all the technicalities of that what goes through on that, but Roland probably helped me how to create a water district. But first we have to do is still talk to the provider to see if there's ample supply of water to be able to be used for, if they're willing to add to that connection, make a bigger connection.
Has there been an engineering assessment along the way over the last few years, privately or through us somehow? As you're saying, you're asking questions, can we do something? It's got to start with,
Yeah, but
what's the problem?
first of all, the first and foremost thing is that they have to buy into it and say, yes, we want to be a partner in this relationship. They may not want to be a partner in this relationship. I'm not sure, but we have to have that conversation with them, the provider, to say, okay, are they a willing participant to be the provider? We can't force a private entity to say, we need this water supply. They have to be a willing.
So I'm on Butler Hill Road, and Butler Hill Road goes all the way up to the top and around, which continues, right, to the end. And 11 brand-new houses were built how many years ago? And they're all tied into water. And I'm 3 houses away from that.
I don't know. I don't know how you weren't tied into it. It's a new development. They probably petitioned to be into that district.
Okay, so I asked him, is there anything that I can join, be involved in to get this moving? I mean, I work with Veolia as well. I'm one of the property managers at Heritage Hills. And I would be honored to be involved in something like this because
Are they connected to Veolia? Is that where they're connected to, those homes, you know?
I think that's private in Greenbrier, but
It's Greenbrier.
Veolia he said something about Veolia may be
Was that the Mancini subdivision? Is that the new
Merriweather
Merriweather?
up on Butler Hill Road. Up at the top.
I don't know if that was Mancini or not.
No.
No, it's not Mancini.
No.
But John Gerbino built a house like 2 years ago right there. I don't know if he's connected or not. He's like 2 houses away from me. I mean, I'm here and they're around the corner, but it's right there. I don't know. Do you know if he's tied in?
I don't know. I don't have the plans or who's been tied in.
Okay. So I did speak.
How many houses in your neighborhood that you think might want to connect?
Well, I know at least 15 people. And
Are they scattered, contiguous to and connected, next to one another? It's all over the place?
we're not far.
Not far.
No.
What he's saying though, is there a house here and then 3 houses and then a house here? Because that's what it would run by all the houses.
Yeah,
It would
I'm
be
not-
under the assumption that everybody would connect into it.
right. So I'm on the corner and then
Okay.
we have that cut through that goes to Annisville. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, no, I am.
Okay, and then Christie Court.
hmm
So all those houses on Court. And then behind going towards Annisville, I think it's
But then it's, okay.
Lake or Summit or something.
So I think what Rob is saying
Okay,
is
so-
accurate. What we need to do is have a meeting with the entire neighborhood. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to start doing this petition and then have a bunch of people come in saying, we don't want to pay for this, we don't want this, we don't want that, then your
Right.
neighborhood's going to be
I,
fighting. It sounds like most of your neighborhood probably would be, and I don't know why you wouldn't. I would be. I'd like to get in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Why you wouldn't be into it, but you want to start with that process and.
I wouldn't mind well water if I had water.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get.
I mean, have you talked to private companies and the depth of well and all that? I mean, the private companies that you're working with that, you know, that have drilled your wells, I mean, have they offered you any other solutions?
Oh, I have,
Albeit maybe very, very expensive? or-
I brought them in and they said there's no guarantees if we drill and you're gonna pay me $15,000 and there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
How deep did they say, how deep is your well now?
75.
And how deep would they say they would extend it to for the $15,000?
It would have to be a new spot
Just
because,
a different spot.
yeah.
But it might be in the same aquifer,
Right,
what they're saying.
right. And there's no,
And everyone of your neighbors has the same problem as you?
yeah.
So, I mean,
I just,
They
I,
I mean, altogether.
I know, I just-
Get together and try to do one test well,
and I'm not,
very, very deep.
Wow.
And if it's successful, then maybe you have a solution. And if it's not, everybody shares the cost somehow.
But I think,
But-
I think the easiest one right now is what Rob is saying, is get the meeting together and then talk to the current current provider. And I mean, Rob, you probably haven't talked to him. I mean, I would think if they could get, if they're doing it for 11 houses, that if they can get 15, 20, 30 houses, I mean, it's more customers for them. I would think that they would be, I don't know,
I don't know either.
but you know, it doesn't hurt to
I need
reach
to,
out.
Well, I saw.
go ahead, go finish.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I kind of think of how you approach this. I mean, you do some sort of a desktop analysis. You basically get the board saying here, well, we want to help you, right? So you talk to your engineers, where the possible interconnect points are, what is this? And then you go meet with your people in your cul-de-sac or whatever you're at and see if that all kind of makes sense and you get support for that. And that only is the beginning. Then somebody has to really do the detail plans and figure out what's what. But you just want to have a concept plan other than I want
That's
it.
what I've been asking for the last.
And I'm saying that we have to,
I need,
we have to
I
do
need
that.
to see,
We need to help you do that.
Oh, we need to help you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We need
I
to
need
help
to
you
see
do that.
more than just Cookie Carpenetto standing here and not saying, not downplaying what you're going through, right? But I need to have more people
Yeah.
who are willing to come out and say, because
I won't.
I've had this conversation with you, yes, in the survey that we did, but I don't have anybody else coming to my door and knocking on it and saying, Mr. Scarano, we have a problem here. How can we fix and remedy this problem? I only have one person, one resident currently right now. So what if I'm saying if we get more people involved, in which I believe that you're saying that there is, then bring them, let's have a meeting and let's set it up and let's say, okay, I have 25 people in here right now. Let's get moving on this because I can't have 25 people in the town of Somers sitting there having undrinkable water.
I understand that, but we started that and it went nowhere because they sent out a survey and no one responded to
Well,
anyone.
that's a
Is that right?
problem.
And so now you want me to do the legwork by going to all my neighbors and saying we need to come?
Would you like me to do an outreach to the
I'm s-
neighbors? Would you like me to do an outreach to them and
I don't know.
and
I'm-
put a date and
I'll
time together?
help.
No, I'm saying, would you like me to do an outreach and say, we'll send it to the neighbors who are up on that block. We'll do an outreach and say, hey, we're holding a meeting here on December or January, whatever date it is at such and such a time here at the Elephant Hotel. Come here if you have issues, right?
Yeah, but what about the paperwork that was submitted with that? Do you have that?
I probably have that survey that was done 5 years
How
ago.
long-
Yes, that was-
And we probably have it somewhere. I've seen.
And I will talk to neighbors.
Remember, it was a different supervisor.
Yeah,
you know.
But you also need to
Submitted.
refresh.
no, he
Now-
wasn't. I don't,
Yeah.
He
I
was,
was not.
was not.
that's what I'm saying. It was a.
Yes,
Super-
you know, I know that. I mean, I've been speaking of,
You remember?
listen, he's been trying to get me here to, help. So I appreciate that.
You know,
At that time, there was a thought of bringing water all the way down Route 100 and who would tie into that water district. So that never occurred. It was in conjunction with North Salem at the time.
Right.
And so that did not occur. What happened with all those responses, that's obviously, if you did create a water district here, that's what you'd start with. But yours is somewhat specialized. It's not all the way down here. Maybe in the future, there is something that would happen on that. But we have a more immediate thing than some new water district right down the middle of town. Because we have a problem right here with PFAS. We have to do something about that.
Mhm.
That we have a water problem too, just with this building and the immediate buildings.
Right.
We got to help you up there with that neighborhood. If what you say is true, you either need a new water supply down deep or you need a new water supply coming in from outside for all of it, obviously. That's the only two choices.
Right.
I would say, Rob, do the outreach
I'm gonna do the outreach.
and then you'll get a meeting here. what I will say is once we do the outreach, Rob tells you what the date is. I would, as from your standpoint, I would possibly reach out to your neighbors
I
and
would.
say, hey, we got to go to this meeting because if nobody shows up,
Yeah.
keep in mind, if we're going to do if there's going to be infrastructure, it's not cheap.
We
And that's what Rob's also saying. It'll be spread out
Yeah,
amongst
yeah.
multiple people.
Right.
One person having to pay
Understand.
X amount of dollars.
You know, it's 2 points. I mean, if a public solution is going to require, multiple public participation. So it's not going to make sense for just one person. So we need that. Just a question. Look, if we have a community that has this problem and you go to the private guys or the engineers and they say, maybe drilling a well very, very deep will make that, could be a solution. As I analyze, do I put in a sewer district? Well, why don't I, can I say, let's do a test well? For as long as, deep, and if if that's the solution, we absorb that cost and then we tell everybody they have to
Never
do that.
absorb the cost.
No.
The whole identity of a district is the people who are benefited have to pay the cost. What the town can do,
Instead of a district, in lieu of a district.
well,
Yeah.
you can't, how would you funnel that water to multiple
I'm
properties?
not trying to funnel it to multiple, I'm first trying to determine whether a deep well will be a solution
That's not a proper.
without putting that on one homeowner.
Yeah, but then you're spreading it out over home.
No,
Have any impact?
No, I mean, look,
If the town pays for it, it's being paid by taxpayer dollars.
All I'm saying, yes, but I'm saying if you do it once and it's successful, then you can turn around and say, look, homeowners, you do have a solution. It's not a matter of,
But that-
everybody's going to have to pay for it on their own.
Homeowners have to do that,
Yeah, the town can't pay for,
proper public purpose.
So
Right.
if one of the water companies agreed to do something like this,
That would be a solution.
would they, well, we would have to find out, but they would probably bring it to the curb and no, or we would have some sort of responsibility.
If
Well, you're thinking of
the
something.
town formed,
All
a
right,
district-
we're trying to,
if the town formed a district for you and your neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
the town could, once we get the district
Right.
entity formed, the town then could borrow the money to allow a contractor to make the connection to Viola and then run a main into your area. And then you each would have to pay to connect into it.
Right.
But you'd also pay over, say, 20 years, the debt service on that borrowed money. So you'd have a new line item on your town tax bill.
Me or everyone in Selma?
Everybody,
no,
Everyone who benefits.
you,
everybody in the
You.
district,
you and your neighbors.
Oh.
everybody in the
Because
district.
we formed a district for you and your neighbors, so that you'd be itemized just for you and your neighbors. That's why I'm saying the more people that you have to come out, the better.
The better.
Because if you're only by yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
the cost would be astronomical and you
Yeah.
would not be able to afford.
Can I ask, those few homes that were just built up there, they're getting water, right? From somewhere, and there must be a water district up there.
It's Greenbrier.
so it was an expansion.
They
They
have-
just
It's an
had an
expansion of Greenbrier.
Extension of Green.
Yeah, it's.
So then this could be an expansion of Greenbrier.
So that,
Well, that, and that may not be, because then you
it
advertise.
wouldn't be as bad if.
You'd have to extend it out to you.
Yeah.
Seems to me.
Okay, so anyway, you heard me, so I guess I'll be dealing with Rob, right? And we'll
Yeah.
figure out something. I don't want to keep
No, good, thank you.
Yes,
on.
Yes.
We'll go knock on the door. Come on out to the meeting.
but we
This is
support,
problem
I will do that.
solved.
support trying to help
We're
you.
with you.
I will.
We can't have another 5 years of all that. Bad.
Thank
All right.
We thought it was presents, but yeah, obviously it's flood.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Holiday, everyone.
You
You
too.
too.
Thank you.
Anybody else here for public comment? If not, can I get a motion to close the public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Town of Somers update. We did the budget. Sidewalk, we hopefully will be completed relatively shortly. We're just waiting on a button to come in, and then we have to paint the lines. And once we paint the lines, we have to make sure that the temperature is correct. So to paint the lines. So we're hoping that
Warm days.
couple warm days. I think maybe next week we might have a couple warm days. We do have some rain, so we just they have to time it correctly. So hopefully that will be completed soon. All right, next up here then, let's go to number 2, Somers Energy Environment Committee update from Don Leesdale. Come on down.
has returned from New England. He was
Yeah.
inundated with snow.
Mhm.
Hey, John.
Evening, gentlemen. Buddy. So I went to a conference a couple weeks back, maybe a month and a half back by the Hudson Valley Regional Council. And it was there was a panel that was uncovering federal and state opportunities for funding, right? And a varied staff. There was a woman from the EPA. She was the Brownfields project manager for the EPA in the New York region, and just got me to thinking. So there's all kinds of grants that are out there, I guess. And I had spoken to Councilman Clinchy also that a few years back with the 9 acres project. That
There we go.
right. So if that were to be a brownfield, right, which I don't know, there's funding for assessing that, I believe. And then assuming they assessed it and they said there was grounds, then there's funding for remediating it, right? So just it piqued my interest living in that area. I know it's been there for a long time. It'd be nice to see if that site could be something other than what it is, which is whatever you want to call it right now. Anyway, so some of you probably have some knowledge of what was done years back that you're trying to get something. I think I don't know if there's state involvement with that or the EPA is working in concert with the state to do that, but I think it'd be worth trying to see if we could get some kind of grant. So, for that.
Did you ever talk to that EPA administrator?
I've reached out, I emailed, I emailed someone at Carla Castillo, she's the executive director of HVRC. I've dealt with her before and I know her. I reached out to her just to see, can I get a phone number? Because I'd love to talk to this, her name is Ashita Patel, just to see, how you go about even knowing that. I know there's abandoned cars, so there might be some oil and gas stuff, which, so it sounds like it might qualify. And I just looked at the website and, listing funding, there's Meriden, Connecticut, and, there's a lot of funds that go out all around, and why not have someone
Well,
here?
you've been here in Somers.
What's that?
I've been here in Somers.
Right, so I think it's worth pursuing that, whether that's in concert with the,
Do you
right?
remember, didn't Joe Barbagallo go up and once that land there was, the town took it over because the homeowners association
The
didn't.
9 acres you're
Taxes.
talking about, right?
Right, 9 acres,
And then the clubhouse and the lake.
right?
Didn't he go up to Albany to try to make that a brownfield site to bring about money? And he came back, said, to his surprise,
They said no.
they said no. And do I
No, I think you remember.
making up
correctly.
things again?
I vaguely recall that.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, no, it was.
Right, 12
years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was years ago.
That was then.
That was then.
Don, what's a brief history of this particular patch, these 9 acres? Or at what
I-
point was it good and developable and zoned for what?
I,
And then when did it turn from greenfield to brownfield? What does it take to move back from brownfield to greenfield?
I honestly don't know the history of the site except
Yeah.
for at some point it was a park of some sort, maybe there was.
There was a
there.
ball field there. 'cause I
Park?
saw the
Pretty green.
backstop.
It was a ball.
Right,
It originally belonged to the Shenorock
Right.
Homeowners Association. They disbanded it and,
and then it was taken back
so,
by the town.
well, not
Yeah, they pay
initially.
taxes.
It wasn't initially, but then it became a dumping site. People just throwing stuff in,
Which is
wash
why-
machines and all this.
Right.
And then we took it, it's a parcel, right? So we took it back. People understand that the town's the last resort of everything. So
Understandable.
when properties go sour,
Right.
it's up in our hands.
Don,
Right.
if you want to go through and entertain the grant writing.
It's worth at least speaking to this woman and just to see how I mean, maybe assuming they're going to assess it, I would think we might be able to get a grant to do that,
Yeah.
right? Because if it's the first stage is assessing, is it a
Mhm.
brownfield?
Yeah.
Why not have that done? I think,
And a phone call to Barbagallo just to kind of fill in the gap.
Yeah, I would.
sure,
I mean,
His
Steve Robbins should get you there.
right. Okay.
Richard, we
town engineer.
testing up there, Rich?
I
Can't
don't,
remember if we ever.
I don't know.
We just assumed
Put up.
there's
I-
some cars up there and
If there was
we're
testing
assuming there's fluid.
informal, was it formal? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, but Joe would probably know.
I don't think we did. I think we would have.
Don, if you don't have their numbers, you can always just give me a call tomorrow.
Sure. So, yeah, so anyway, I thought that was, and I went there because there is obviously myriad federal and state funding opportunities for all kinds of stuff in the coming year.
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff happening in Westchester, different areas, down county and stuff like that, getting funding for that. So
Yeah, and there's there's another round of um, clean energy homes. They're still promoting that. I haven't schooled myself on all the funding that's going to be this year, but I think there's still quite a bit. So we're still working on that. And from our tally with the grants, I think we've gotten close to 20,000 grants from the different points we've gotten. So
Nicely done.
that's
yeah,
That's a great,
and there's more.
Yep.
good job.
So
Did it cost the town to get that 20?
21.
well, we're a highly paid committee, We're so,
Oh, that's right, it's
Yeah.
0.
but I did.
1,000 to 0.
But I did want to just publicly thank Denise Shermer, who's been our secretary for many years. She's, knows the town in and out, as you all well know. And I just want to thank her for all her work. She does above and beyond just being our secretary. And
He's
Mike,
passionate about your cause too.
she is, she is. She
great.
grew up in Shenorock and her family was there. So, but I want to thank Mike Scarano and Rick Warren, for all the help and we're small, but we do what we can. We had another woman who came to the last meeting and looks like she might want to contribute. So next year we're going to continue to look for that. We'll probably try to do some kind of presentation in the spring, on some kind of topic. And what else? Yes, there's still a lot out there to get. So I'm hoping to try to see if we can get some more funds and generate more interest.
We
And
appreciate your efforts, Don. We
so.
really move things along, and like $20,000 is $20,000 that we didn't have to spend as a town. So
right.
good
Right,
stuff.
and
It's- it-
battery charge and all that stuff is more and more of that's happening, so. Yeah, so, go Somers tomorrow night,
Go
right?
Somers tomorrow.
And, Merry Christmas to everybody and happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you for your
I'll
loyalty.
reach
and
out.
Reach out
persistence.
to me tomorrow.
I'll keep you briefed on this too, and.
Cool.
Thanks.
That'd be great.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Don.
Thanks.
Don, as these things come up, does the committee have any sense and a desire at any time where Denise to sort of put out a
Newsletter?
or something like that? Has there ever been a discussion?
Well, it'd be great to have somebody who's like social media interested, savvy, I'm self-employed and I put in a lot of hours and I could
Right.
do, but that would be great to have someone who could sort of do that. Denise would do it. I'm reluctant to want to put more on her plate, but, that would be, just to try to
Well, if there's a high school student out there who would like an internship,
specific one,
who's interested in this,
really,
and partnering with our Energy Environment Committee,
that'd be great.
discussing with you, Denise, Rick, Mike,
Yeah,
ways to put together that would be informative for not just high school students, but more important, maybe to all of us. And two,
Right.
keep the town board abreast of the things that is going on. So we don't want opportunities to pass us by.
that would be,
And I think I would include the grant writers that we employ to be on the button about things that you say is available. And I want to make sure that they are as aware as you are.
right. That'd be great. Is there someone specific you're thinking of? No?
No, I know no one under
Okay.
80.
But, listen,
Good to know, Rich.
I know high schoolers in another town, though. I do know
Well-
them very well. Do the-
well, my son is graduating as
As is mine.
Tom's daughter this year too, but, listen, we all want to have a sustainable, safer, healthier world. So, and I think it's, and my son I know is aware of these things just from going to school here and being in this town. So, I think that would be, it's worth pursuing that, I think.
Right, if there's a way of perhaps bring this to the school board or to the principal of the high school, or if they still have, I know they did have.
Well, Bedford 2030 or 2020, right? They do,
2030.
there's something called, they do something every year where they have a project that kids work together and they get awarded. So that maybe would be a way we could work out something like to give an award or something.
Well, the Energy
Incentivize
Environment
kids to-
Committee used to do that here, and there was
Right.
they did research, they reached out to kids, had a survey, and what would you want to see in your town? I remember being at a ceremony here. It's only done for a couple of times. And there was an award given out. It was nominal, a $50 gift certificate or whatever. But what's interesting is the things that you heard as the kids would put in these essays. You know, some of them had that formulaic sound to them. But you look at what is the specific things that they were interested in. And that was really kind of eye-opening to me of what was important to a kid 15, 16, 17 years old from the point of view of the environment in this town that they live in. I'm just throwing out random thoughts.
Well, let's, our,
Got any more?
It's a normal night.
our kids,
This is what I specialize in, ladies and gentlemen.
See that crawl.
oh, hey, our kids are be alive maybe to see the next century, right?
We hope.
Maybe. And so they
I
get
hope
to
so.
inherit this world. So yeah,
Yeah.
we do what we can. But anyway,
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
appreciate it.
Any more random thoughts, Rich?
Well, I'm accumulating as we speak.
Deep
You're
thought.
not a Green Bay or Detroit
Right.
fan apparently, because they're playing in a little bit.
Yeah,
You can,
I like Detroit.
relieve them at 9 o'clock.
I got scouting to do tonight.
I know. All right, on to number 3 here. Authorize the supervisor to execute the grant documents for $50,000 SAM grant for the Wright Reese Homestead Horse Barn renovation. This is a grant from Matt Slater's office that we need to authorize, and this would be doing some repairs, engineering report, supplies, to total about 50,000.
Does this have any matching component from the?
No matching component at all.
Great.
That's
Okay. Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Time.
Move.
Thank
Right.
you,
That's
later.
later. Yep. Matt Slater.
Authorize supervisors to accept award of BJ 24-1238 for the town court interpreters and authorize supervisors to execute the grant documents. Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move. And then authorize supervisors to accept the award BJ 24-1241 LED radar speed detector grant and authorize the supervisor to execute the grant documents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's LED radar speed?
Gonna be a safe.
What is it?
Department, is it just a radar detector?
Is that what it is? Or are they detecting somebody else having?
It's an LED one.
LED speed sign.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know.
It's all right.
Light emitting.
It's all right.
It's a grant document.
It's a long
So
night for
We'll
you.
take money anyway. Yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
Long night.
Right, it's a grant, Rob.
Oh, that's a big night.
So we're going to acknowledge the receipt of 90%, 189,168 of the New York State Construction Grant Award of $210,000, 187, which covers 50% of the cost for the new Somers Library Teen Room. The remaining 10% will be awarded when the project is complete. We just want to make acknowledgement that we have received this.
So acknowledged.
Okay, and then number 7, authorize the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement, IMA, with the town of North Salem for the connection of a sewer line from the Croton Falls to Heritage Hills sewage treatment plant, utilizing the town of Somers local roads and the right-of-ways. Make the motion to authorize supervisor to enter into the agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Patty, you've got the actual resolution?
I do.
Okay. When you
Little
return
bit or-
one original to North Salem, certify a resolution, include that in the package as well. Great.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, if anybody's, want to go into it a little bit?
Want to talk about it? I mean, I'll
Yeah.
tee it up, you know.
Yeah, you want to take, you can take it, go ahead.
So essentially, North Salem is having, water issues in Croton Falls.
Sewer issues.
The sewer issues, I'm sorry, in Croton Falls, and they just have looked at maybe 3 or 4 solutions, all very expensive. This is the least expensive solution for them. Their recommendation is to, connect to, was it Greenbrier?
Hills.
Heritage
Heritage Hill.
Heritage Hills system.
Heritage Hill sewage treatment plant.
And in doing so, they have to cross, the state road and I don't know how the exact paths, but they're going to go through our roads in Annisville or Butlerville up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those roads, yeah.
Yeah, and connect to the sewer district. And so in doing so, they're going to give us a convenience and a right-of-way fee for doing that upon the award of bid, right? And that'll,
We have the check, but.
We have the check.
it'll Be held in escrow.
it has to be held in that, so it's about $526,000.
Correct.
Correct.
It doesn't become ours until the grant, the plans are awarded, right? And
The contract.
contract is awarded,
Construction.
construction. So this could take, a little bit of time.
Take a year.
Take a year or so. And then, it's another thing, trying to be,
Good neighbors.
a good neighbor, try to help our neighbors out in need. We've had some preliminary discussions. We have the resolution here in place.
Just some nuances. They're gonna have to, the inconveniences are gonna have to dig up streets, but they're gonna repave all of that.
Right.
And any cost that's incurred on our behalf for supervising it or doing anything, they will pay for.
Correct.
And,
Yeah, so they're,
we just socialize it. We need to socialize.
so
it.
as people understand this, that yes, they're connecting in, the potential to connect into the Heritage Hills sewer treatment plant. But again, I want to emphasize this, not $1 will be paid from Somers taxpayers. I think that's important for people to understand that North Salem, if they do complete this project, that all the expenses will be endured by North Salem.
Right.
And then, as we did say before, to allow to enter into this agreement was a $526,000
Convenience and
conven-
right-of-way
right,
fee.
convenience and right-of-way fee.
In the cost of formulating this agreement
Yes,
payable by them.
correct. So everything, even this agreement, this document, lawyers, engineer studies, anything that the town does incur, we have our own engineers and lawyers looking at documents and all sorts of things that North Salem then would reimburse back the town of Somers.
Correct.
Okay, so I just want to make that perfectly clear to everybody so they have an idea about this. Okay, thank you. Nice job. Number 8, refer the request from the Heritage Hills Society for the town of Somers to formally adopt, and we're going to change the street, the roadway to, Patty, the street name that begins at the intersection with Lovell Street and runs directly west onto Heritage Hills property, where it terminates at the intersection of West Hill Drive, a distance of approximately 1/4 of a mile, and establish the legal name as West Ridge Drive to the Somers Police Department, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Department of Highways, and the Engineering Department for evaluation and recommendation. I'll make the motion to refer the request out.
Can I just want to go on a quick question. I saw a note
Aye.
from Gloria correcting some of the documentation as it relates to this. And I just want to make sure that when we rule on this, it's the right documentation.
Yes.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yes.
They asked us to adopt the roadway,
Yeah,
and they should have asked us to adopt the street.
Street name.
okay.
And that's why we just
Okay.
changed it now.
Thank-
It was
Okay,
on
great.
there. It's-
Great.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, no.
we don't want to go
Right.
reverse something
Right.
in the future.
Had that once, right?
Okay, I'm good.
Motion to refer the request?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Parks and Rec, no additional business. Financial, request permission to use the insurance reserve for property damage to reimburse the Highway Department for the purchase, delivery, and planting of a replacement tree at 9 Deansbridge Road in the amount of $10,150 per memo dated November 27th, 2024 from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance.
Now this, I remember we talked about this once. So they were doing work and they had to take down a tree to do the work. Is that what happened?
Correct. So usually when we look at it, we go out there and we figure out what the right of way is,
Right.
right? We thought by looking at just preliminary, we usually have 10 feet off the right of way or whatever the number is. We were doing work on that branch that the tree was old, it was rotting out. So what happened is that we removed the tree, okay? Upon further review, when it was brought to our attention from the resident, it was actually on their
Okay.
property.
All right, good.
So what we did is we went out there, removed it, ground the stump down, had to get it through the rock wall, all that kind of stuff, right? And then we replanted a tree on their behalf, because it was ours. And sometimes, unfortunately, these happen. We look at some of the right of ways, and we have different things. Usually the rock wall is usually the mark, but we know that we have sometimes people put rock walls in front of their tree,
Yeah.
right? And actually was there, so we thought we had a little bit more room. We went and took the tree down. They came home and we rectified the situation.
I have trees. Please come take them down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Especially if it's old and rotted.
Motion to request permission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll move. And then, highway, accept low bids for the 2025 highway materials with the exception of mileage deviations from all categories picked up by FBO, by trucks furnished by the town of Somers, November 25th, 24, from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways. Motion to accept the low bids.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Current vacancies, Affordable Housing Board, Assessment Board of Reviews. We have a library board, not library board of trustees, and then we also have a planning board as well. On to number 3, authorize hiring for Nicole Montesano as part-time planning board secretary in the planning and engineering department at a rate of $28.28 per hour, starting the week of December 9th, 2024, per memo dated November 21st, 2024, from the planning and engineering department. Make the motion to authorize the hiring.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so move.
And this has not been an easy position
It hasn't.
to fill.
We had somebody. Unfortunately, they had to, we hired them. Unfortunately, they had to decline. So then we've been having this position open now. If we finally got it, it's been going on almost 2.5, 3 years.
Crazy
So
down.
as great as it sounds, we finally got somebody and we're excited for them to join.
Let's hope Nicole's great.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
authorize 2024 out of title adjustment to Catherine Sisto, Secretary of the Superintendent of Highways, in the amount of $2,000 per memo dated November 20, 2024, from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways. Motion to authorize the 2024 out of title adjustment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Planning and engineering for review and comment wetland and watercourse application.
Look at.
No comment.
Look at Torta.
New at 12 Western Way. I have no comment on that. Anybody else?
Look at.
No. Nope.
No.
Okay. Proposed consensus agenda, Patty will put to next week. Upcoming calendar. December 12th, 7 PM, Town Board regular meeting. January 9th and 16th, we have our, 9th, we have our Town Board organizational meeting and our Town Board work session. And on the 16th, our Town Board regular meeting. And then February 6th and 13th, Town Board work session, Town Board regular meeting. All of those meetings start at 7 PM. Okay, I will give some announcements, Patty, and then you want to fun fact? We'll close out on the fun fact tonight.
Oh,
All right. Town of Somers Holiday Celebration, Sunday, December 8th, right here, 3 PM. We kick it off. Nativity scene, dedication and blessing, sponsored by the Knights of Columbus. 3:30 to 5, photos with Santa right here in the meeting room. And then 5 o'clock, we're going to have the Christmas tree lighting with myself and accompanied by the town board. And most importantly, Santa Claus.
And it will light up.
And it will light up this year. Well,
I'm
well,
man.
and if it doesn't, we need to clap and have more cheer. Thursday, December 26th, and we have the menorah lighting ceremony, 5:15, face painting, balloons, and then 6 PM will be the menorah lighting. And then Somers Historical Society will be open on the 3rd floor. Town of Somers Seniors, the Van Tassel House Holiday Party. That is Thursday, December 19th. And that's 11 to 3, Travelers Rest. And that's in 25 Route 100, Austin, New York. And that's $65, cash only. The Holidays on the Hill annual train show now through Sunday, January 5th. That's at Lasden Park. Muscoot Farm Holiday Lights on the Farm.
Oh, nice.
Miyagi.
Got it.
Got it. Wow.
Mm.
Danielson. Muscoot Farm, Friday and Saturday, December 6th and 7th, 13th, 14th, 2021. And that's 5 to 8. Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day and the 83rd anniversary since the attack in Hawaii that began in our U.S. involvement in World War II, and that is Saturday, December 7th, 2024. Just want to make mention of that. We have the Town of Somers Blood Drive, Friday, January 3rd, 1:30 to 7 here at the Somers Townhouse Elvin Hotel. Local food pantries are open. We have St. Luke's Episcopal Church. Please, if you have any questions, call them at 914-277-3122. for what types of foods they're looking for. And Community Center of Northern Westchester, 84 Bedford Road, Katona. And their hours are from 10 to 4, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and 12 to 6 on Thursday, and 10 to 1 on Saturdays. That is it. Patty.
Rob, two other quick public announcements.
Sure, go ahead.
Why, the Somers Lions Club is doing caroling at the Paramount for senior citizens next Sunday, the 15th. If if we have interested carolers, please contact me directly, along with the maybe 10-year anniversary of Illuminate Somers. Also continuing
Right.
that tradition, and that will be running on December 15th as well, Sunday night.
Why don't you talk about the Adopt a Family?
The Adopt a Family, yeah, it's a great program. Also run by the Lions. One of our Lions, Paul Espina, is quarterback for that. And there have been over the years, it started with maybe 10, 15 families. This year, I believe we're up to 62 families. And it's a great process. Basically, it's anonymous. People submit to the Lions what they might need on their wish list for Christmas. This includes kids. This includes parents. Sometimes it even includes grandparents. And these are folks who may not have all the means to get some of the things that they need. Good news, bad news. Great news is there's a program like this, and it's very successful. The bad news is when it grows, it means there's more people in need. But again, it's very discreet. It's very quiet, and it's very effective, and nobody gets turned down. And for good or for bad, we're up to 62 families this year.
I mean, it's almost,
Find out.
it's almost a tale of two cities here. I think they process it through school and also.
There's
I was
actually,
in the newspaper.
yeah, there's
And I
a
put
website.
it in, but it didn't come up. It said it wasn't there.
Let me know what you put in. There is
Whatever was in the newspaper.
I just also want to say that local business.
be up and running because, like I said, we've got 62 families who have signed up.
Yeah,
So it was working.
it was like 2 weeks ago I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant to tell you.
I'll chat
Please.
with you further offline
you.
because we could always use adopt errors.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
Yeah, a lot of local businesses,
Yeah.
band together and as a group, adopt families. I know my wife Carol with Houlihan Lauren.
Mhm.
They have a group. They support this. They pick quite a few number of families,
Mhm.
and they get a list of what they have that needs, and you don't have to fulfill the entire list,
Mhm.
but there are some people, that
People do. A lot of people do. Actually,
and
but every little bit helps to your.
everything gets packed and then shipped, and it goes to St. Luke's though. Does it go through St. Luke's?
Actually, the staging point this year will be Van Tassel.
Okay.
Normally it's here at the townhouse.
Last
Kind of outgrown, so it's going over to Van Tassel.
I mean, it's a tale of two cities. I mean, we're an affluent community, but
Hmm.
but we're not.
Yeah.
Some places.
But fortunately, the ones who are affluent are very, very generous. As in character of the rest of it.
Patty, fun fact.
Okay,
Go down for us.
so on this day in history, in 1848, the gold rush began. In 1933, Prohibition ended. In 1945, the Bermuda Triangle. 5 planes, 14 men went missing, never to be seen again.
Weird.
So, as everybody should be aware, that our Somers varsity football team is currently in Syracuse,
Yeah.
getting ready to play their
Scourge.
4th
That's-
state championship.
That's really something.
If they win, when they win
Hmm.
tomorrow night,
We're good. Good
they
save.
will be the record holding state championship winners in New York State in any league.
Amazing.
For any
Amazing.
football team in any division.
No, I think
I say,
any sport team.
your kids
that-
are out there, but my heart is out there. So
Mhm.
to all the players, the coaches, and the countless volunteers, let's go Tuskers.
Get it done.
I will be there. I'm going to go up and watch it.
Some of the best football ever. I'm going to be at
Sure.
Barnwood and I'm going to be streaming it there.
Mhm. I don't know where I'll be.
Hmm.
I might be on my couch. That is it. Anybody have anything else to say? If not, I'll make the motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Good night, everyone.